Look, you can make a strong case. The Vancouver Canucks are not just the best story in the Pacific Division, but the entire league. With the holiday season already here and Christmas itself just a few days away, we wanted to identify one wonderful, happy team story from each of the 4 divisions. We'll start in the Eastern Conference with the Atlantic Division. Now, as is the case with all the groups, there's more than one solid option here. Boston has maintained a very high level of play when many thought it would stumble, and the Leafs have fought through a tough injury list to be right up near the top of the division. But I think the team we have to highlight here is the Florida Panthers. If the stars aligned for the Cats to make the Stanley Cup final last spring, everything was also in place for a stumble out of the gate. Florida was without its top 2 D-men, Aaron Ekblad and Brandon Montour, for nearly 2 months to kick off the season. Throw in some inflated expectations, bit of a hangover after a long playoff run, and nobody would have been surprised to see Florida sitting outside the playoff picture right now. Instead, the Panthers are on solid footing thanks to a career year from Sam Reinhart, the usual two-way magic from Alexander Barkov, it's a pretty quality goaltending from Sergei Bobrovsky and Anthony Stolarz. As for the Metropolitan Division, show me the person who thought the Flyers would be comfortably in the playoffs just days ahead of Christmas, and I'll show you the most optimistic Philly sports watcher in a sea of otherwise notoriously fickle fans. Yep, we all took new GM Daniel Briere at his word when he was talking about a ground-up rebuild in Philadelphia. Yet here the John Tortorella coach club is, playing some of the best hockey around lately, looking way more like a team that could buy rather than sell ahead of the March trade deadline. The return of Sean Couturier after nearly 2 years without playing an NHL game has been huge for Philly, as have the goal-scoring exploits of Travis Konechny and a breakout season on the blue line for Travis Sanheim. Torts has this club cooking and making us all look foolish for expecting them to fall flat. Okay, over to the Western Conference, where it is time for 2 Canadian clubs to make an appearance. Look, you can make a strong case. The Vancouver Canucks are not just the best story in the Pacific Division, but the entire league. Look, maybe we should have seen some of this coming because the Canucks did have a .611 points percentage in the back half of last season under Rick Tocchet when he took over as coach almost a year ago in January of 2023. Still, this is something else. With Captain Quinn Hughes right up there in the Norris and Hart Trophy conversations, Thatcher Demko probably the leading candidate to win the Vezina, and Elias Pettersson and JT Miller also way up there in the scoring race. It's been an amazing nearly 35 games so far for the Canucks, and we'll see what they have in store for us in the second half of the year. Finally, we land on the team that had great news to share even before the puck drop this year. One day before the season started, the Winnipeg Jets announced they had inked Connor Hellebuck and Mark Scheifele to identical 7-year extensions. That wound up being a good harbinger of things to come, as the Jets have been playing great hockey, battling for the Central Division lead. And things haven't been easy in Winnipeg. Top sniper Kyle Connor is out right now long-term with a knee injury. Off-season acquisition Gabe Vilardi was hurt in just his 3rd game with the team. And coach Rick Bowness even had to leave the squad for a stretch to be with his wife, Judy, after she suffered a seizure. Still, the Manitoba boys have battled through it all so far and look stronger for it. Now let's get a look at the full ranking. The Blue Shirts are back in the top spot. NYR have been one of the best stories in the league this year under new coach Peter Laviolette, especially its special teams. Holy cow, look at the Predators all the way up to number 12. A little over a month ago, Nashville was one of the worst teams in the league. Now the Preds are way up in a playoff spot. The Wild have definitely benefited from the new coach bump under John Hines, but they still have some work to do to climb into a playoff position. Speaking of new coaches, let's see how the Blues respond now that Drew Bannister has taken over for 2019 Stanley Cup champion Craig Berube. All right, I'm Ryan Dixon. That's all the time we have this week and this year, in fact. But please have yourself a wonderful holiday season and check back very early in 2024 and all season long for the Sportsnet Power Rankings.